Hey, welcome to Cat's Bookend. I'm going to do a tag that I've been wanting to do for a long time. This is from Books and Looks. They have an awesome channel. You should check it out. I'm going to put the link down below in the description box. They were doing this tag and I said, oh, can I do it? And they said, sure, go for it. And finally, I've had the time. I feel like things have been conspiring against me so that I wouldn't make a video. I mean, every time I tried, something would come up and I wouldn't be able to do it. But I'm going to be catching up on a few tags these next couple of days. And this tag is the social media tag. And, you know, I invite all of you to do it. Anybody who wants to do it, go for it. It's a fun tag. I'm going to answer these questions for you. Okay, the first one involves Twitter. And it's a book you want to share with the world. Well, that's Days. Okay, I'll put a link up. I talked about Days in another video of mine where I was recommending sci-fi. This one, I cannot rave enough about this. I think it's very underrated. I don't even think a lot of people know about this. You would like this probably, even though it's sci-fi, but it's not really the type of sci-fi. Like if you're a person that doesn't like all the robots and spaceships and all of that, well then you might like this, because the only thing that's sci-fi about it that makes it sci-fi is that it takes place in the future. It's a futuristic superstore. It's excellent. I'm not going to like rehash it again. I'll just put the link to the video where I talked about this, but it's really good. Days by James Lovegrove. Okay, the next question is Facebook. A book you really enjoyed that was recommended by someone else. Well, that's Usher's Passing. Usher's Passing by Robert R. McCammon. That was my first introduction to McCammon, and I didn't even want to read it. This is when I was in my early college days, and a friend of my brother who's into horror said, oh, you've got to read this, you've got to read this. And I'm like, I already know everything there is to know about the fall of the House of Usher. I don't want to read a retread of that. And he's like, no, trust me. And so it laid on my shelf for the longest time. I did not want to read it. And I finally picked it up, and I'm so glad I did. It was awesome. It was a really, really excellent story. And I became a fan of Robert R. McCammon. I'm so glad I read it. I'm so glad I was introduced to him. It was an excellent book. And the way that he described that house was just so creepy. And I mean, I love it when an author like really, really puts you in it. It's like you feel you're right there. You can imagine everything. You can picture everything. You can feel the book, the tension in the book. So that's my answer for Facebook. Usher's Passing by Robert R. McCammon. Okay, Tumblr. A book you read before BookTube, but haven't raved much about it on BookTube. Okay, now that would be The Ritual by Adam Neville. This book, whoa. I mean, whoa. Okay, they're trapped. They're lost, and they're starting to hate each other. I mean, they're fighting. It's getting violent. It's getting bad. And they can't make their way out of this damn forest. And they, you know, are being hunted down by this thing they can't see. They don't even know what it is, but something is hunting them down, some creature. And it kills them in very horrific ways. So one by one, they're being killed. And as if that isn't bad enough, the one that's finally the survivor, because there's only one survivor left over, he gets kidnapped by a bunch of crazy people in the woods that are in some really weird cult. You know, I was frightened because I was like, he's never going to get out of that dang forest. He's never going to get out. It was like he was constantly in there and things were stopping him at every turn. And if I can feel that much tension, my heart can race that much in a story, it's worth recommending. The Ritual by Adam Neville. And he's written a bunch of other powerhouse horror stories too. He's good. Okay, the next one. Excuse me. MySpace. A book you don't plan on rereading. Well, that's anything. I don't reread books. I mean, I'll reread reference books like Encyclopedia Cthulhiana. I'll reread, you know, horror books and, not horror, excuse me, humor books and graphic novels. But everything else, no. Once I read it, that's it. Okay, I'm sorry I said horror. It's humor, because I don't reread horror. Okay. That was MySpace. Now, Instagram. A book with a gorgeous picture-worthy cover. I can't help but pick this one. This is The Evolution of Calpurnia Tate. It's a historical young adult novel, and I just love this cover. I think it's very, very picture-worthy. All these different pictures that are in the trees there that pertain to the story, and the color, it's like it glows. It's really pretty. Okay. That was Instagram. I'm sorry I'm repeating myself. It's more for me that I'm saying that, because I don't want to go back and do the same thing that I have on this list here. Okay. YouTube. A book you wish would be made into a movie. Well, I'm going to cross out would and say could. I wish it could be made into a movie. I picked Hyperion Cantos, which is Hyperion and the Fall of Hyperion together. They could never make that a movie. Okay? I wish they could make it a movie, and I wish they would, but there is no way. All the things that are going on, all the different characters, all the different planets, all the different subplots, they couldn't do it. They wouldn't have enough time to make it. It would have to be a whole series of movies, and even then I don't know if they could do it, because the technology that's in these novels, it would be very, very expensive. I mean, it would break any budget that there ever was for any movie. You take the one that costs the most money, I bet you this would be like 10 times more. And if you ever read it, you'll know what I mean. Okay. Skype. A book with characters that you wish you could talk to instead of just reading about them. Well, I just read this. I just got this from Thrift Books. I talked about it a little bit in that video. I'll put that link up. And I'm about to do a review of this. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to do a review. I'm thinking of doing a 2-part review on this one. One with spoilers and one without. We'll just have to see what I decide to do there. But I just got done with this book, and it was delightful. I loved it. It had some strong themes in it. It's not like it was this light, fluffy read, because it wasn't, but it was so engaging. And, you know, I just feel like I would like to talk to the characters in here. I seriously would, because they made the stupidest decisions, and I don't know where they were coming from with some of the things that happened in here. But then when they explained it, you know, the woman's past and her way of thinking, and when then they got into the character of her husband, you know, you learn a lot more. It gets deep, and I think that I would like to talk to them instead of just reading about them. Okay, well, that was the social media tag, and like I said, if you're interested in doing it, go for it. Do it. Okay, thanks for stopping by.